Here you are.
Yeah, Mick, we got more memorabilia here.
While searching the bag, Jeff has uncovered a secret stash of hardcore pornography.
Where did you purchase these CDs from, sir?
Oh, it's my friend.
Your friend?
Yes.
Did he give them to you?
Yes.
Where did he give them to you at?
Westman Way, Shanghai. Yeah.
Shanghai?
Yes.
Yes. Did he give them to you as a gift?
Yes.
The passenger has a number of DVDs that may or may not be allowed to enter the country. At this present stage, one of my colleagues is just viewing the DVDs and he'll get back to me on the classification.
Yeah, Jeff. There's about 10 bestiality ones, mate. We've still got about another 20 or 30 to go through.
It's not illegal to bring sexually explicit material into the country. There are just limits to what is considered offensive, and this man may have crossed that line.
And pay attention to what I have to tell you now, sir, okay? Yes. I caution you that you do not have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used as evidence. Do you understand what I just said?
Yes.
Okay, no worries.
At Sydney Airport, thousands of passengers will arrive before lunchtime, and two in particular are attracting a higher than normal degree of attention. Miss Lam and Miss Nguyen, two friends returning from Vietnam, are trying to make it look like they're strangers.
We've got two females here. They travel out together. They've come back in, split up, went through the immigration line separately, went to opposite ends of the carousel. So that in itself is a bit sus. There's a couple of other things we're not happy with.
Officers now need to find out what these two passengers are up to. It's never easy when a customs officer is rummaging through your dirty laundry. If they find something, it's their job to investigate.
A lot of pornography can be brought in legally. There's some that's illegal. And this gentleman's got quite a lot of CDs depicting a whole range of different things. Some are okay. At the moment, that one's okay. Out of about 50, the rest have been deemed to be offensive to the public. From the body language as you go through, you probably see non-consent as well, so that's out. I don't even need to look at the rest of it.
Michael has special training from the Office of Film and Literature Classification.
Well, yeah, but it's not illegal to own a lot of porn. It's illegal to own this type of porn.
Bringing hardcore pornographic material across the border can result in a 10-year prison sentence and a $275,000 fine. Over in quarantine, it is Rita's morning patrol. She has just started her watch and is contending with a family who has brought in enough food to feed a small army.
And that's fish paste. Fish. And that's another fish.
You like your fish?
That's another fish.
It's another fish.
And dried fish.
Fish! Prawns. Is there any more fish left in the sea?
Although seafood poses no quarantine risk, not all of the family's food has been declared.
That's food.
No, this is dried flour.
Dried flour. And do you eat it? So it's food. Any more food here?
That's not medical.
Oh dear. That's food.
Rita has had enough.
This is a legal document. Okay? You have declared food.
I did.
But when I ask what other food there is, you should show me the other food. Otherwise, you will be giving me a false declaration. In a sense, you're telling me, no, I don't have food in that bag, but yes, we do have food in the other bag. There would be a fine of $220 for false declaration. Okay? So, I'm just going to give you a last chance. Any more food in the other bags?
Meanwhile, over in customs, officers want to know more about the two women who have just returned from Vietnam. Miss Lam has been taken into an interview room for more detailed questioning. Although she resides permanently in Australia, she doesn't speak English fluently, so a telephone interpreter is being used.
Carol, where's she gone?
Do you know where your female friend is now?
Giờ chị biết cái cô bạn gái chị đang ở đâu không?
Không. Em không có nói chuyện với nó nữa.
So, do you know if she is back or still in Vietnam?
Biết cái cô đó là bây giờ là đã về đây chưa hay là vẫn còn ở Việt Nam?
Em không biết nữa, bây giờ em không có nói chuyện đó mà em không thấy.
Interesting answers, especially considering officers know that Miss Nguyen is only standing about 10 metres away. Bringing in prohibited explicit material, which has been refused classification in Australia, can lead to fines of over $100,000.
We've classified all the information that Gemma had on all the discs. Some were unable to read, so we're going to hold those anyway. We'll be counting all these and itemising them to be seized and then referring it on to investigations branch.
What's happening?
Non-consent,
Yep.
bestiality,
Yep.
and these unable to read, so we're going to take them anyway.
Oh, okay.
All those are okay.
Yep.
Took quite a while, but got through the whole lot.
Just been notified that the material that is brought into Australia is pretty bad. So we're going to get a full picture on everything that is brought in. We're going to get a full picture of the passenger himself. Come in here, and I'll go and get you a drink of water, okay? Just pull up a suit.
The passenger was questioned for several hours and was eventually allowed to go. The offensive DVDs were confiscated and destroyed.
448 BB gun.
Every few weeks, prohibited items like the pornographic DVDs seized by customs are catalogued, then incinerated.
Yep, that's correct. Right.
Deadly knives and other weapons that enter through airports and mail centres around the country are just the beginning. You'd be amazed at what some people try to bring across the border.
This is what's called a trench knife.
If you wanted to wage a war, this would be a good place to start. BB guns like these are sold overseas as toys, but customs consider them anything but. Penalties for importing prohibited goods like these can be high, including fines of up to $250,000 and 10 years in jail.
I need to have a look at the other green bags because I need to make sure that you're not giving me a false declaration and you're positive there's no food in the other bags.
This is it. Rita is giving the family one last chance to declare any more food.
What's this?
Baby.
What is it?
Throw it away.
But what is it?
What is it?
Mango.
Mango.
Poo-poo.
I don't know. On the plane.
Throw those out.
Mango. That's food.
As the bags keep coming, so does the food.
That's not tea. Oh. That's food.
Back at the customs bond store, officers are still dealing with fakes.
They will copy Callaway golf clubs, for instance, and they go right down to minute detail.
Is this the Big Bertha?
Yeah, looks like the real McCoy. In this case, yes, it is a great Big Bertha driver, and they have everything right except that the refinements of the club aren't there. A real club won't break like that. It just won't break like that. They'll bend. They'll bend.
Customs' job is to find these fakes before they make it onto Australian streets. But sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference between a fake and the real thing.
Gucci wallets. Gucci wallets. How many have we got?
35.
35. Yeah. Gucci wallets.
3 tons of catalogued goods later, and Customs' job is nearly finished. Next stop, the incinerator. Thai Airways Flight 991 has just arrived from Bangkok, carrying passengers from connecting flights across Asia.
This is your name and your signature?
Yes.
Do you understand the questions on the card?
Because I just...
Thak's been on holiday in Asia, staying with a friend.
Yes.
Alarm bells started ringing because the passenger's ticket purchase was unusual.
See, so your friend paid for this.
Huh?
Why did your friend buy the ticket and not yourself?
Huh?
Why did your friend
Thak's had a
pay for
short
this
stopover in
ticket and not you?
Bangkok on his way from Vietnam, a popular route for drug couriers, and Customs wants to know more about the friend he says bought his ticket.
Birth date?
Birthday, I didn't know where his birthday.
When's his birthday?
I don't know where his birthday.
You don't know?
I just tell you what.
How old
where
is he?
live. Huh?
How old?
43 something.
While the passenger is being questioned, officers are checking one particular item he's brought in. It looks like a picture, but those orange areas on the X-ray indicate possible organic material. not what you'd expect inside an artwork.
There is powder in there just to try to move it around a little bit, see if the image changes in shape.
So officers open it to get a better look. It contains 4 cheaply made pictures.
There's no visible signs of being tampered with.
Customs officers are used to the devious methods of concealment used by drug smugglers.
They're pretty clever though when they make them that they can make it look new. We're getting that same division. Might have to drill it, see if there's anything inside it.
Before drilling the pictures, they do a drug swab. In customs, officers are questioning 2 passengers from Vietnam. Their behaviour getting off the flight was suspicious, and now their stories aren't matching up.
This one has finally admitted she's travelled with this passenger. This one is still denying full knowledge.
Customs officers have more than enough grounds to conduct a frisk search of Miss Nguyen.
What we'd like to do is to pat you down, okay? All right, not going to go over any skin or anything like that. Not removing any clothing, okay?
Both of them are wearing very tight clothing, so it could be just simply if there's anything around the ankles or anything like that.
Into a room.
The passenger has elected to have the frisk conducted in a private room. It's nearly the end of the line for the prohibited items that Customs has seized at airports and mail centres around the country.
Okay, as you can see, we've got the goods that we've loaded in at Customs store. We've got weapons, we've got medicines, we've got blowpipes, we've got Louis Vuitton bags. We've got a multitude of items going for destruction today.
This will also end the myth about the customs officers take all these things home. Seeing this being destroyed today, and me as a witness with 34 years experience, I'm not going to lose my job over one DVD or a Louis Vuitton bag. I'm here to see it destroyed, and that's what's going to happen today.
Every year, Customs seizes hundreds of thousands of prohibited items. Most of these are destroyed. Meanwhile, a frisk search by a female officer on the passengers returning from Vietnam has turned up empty. But that doesn't mean officers are finished with their investigations just yet.
We think the purpose of a visit is not just plain a visit to family. There's some other reason, so that's the only thing we can think of is drugs. And because we didn't find anything in the bags, now the only other thing left is searching her body and then probably even internal.
An internal concealment is nothing new to Customs, and there are some signs they can look out for.
Looks like she's burping and coughing a bit. If you swallowed something, say it's wrapped up in something, even plastic, or these days they use condoms or whatever, and then sometimes your body reacts and it wants to throw it out.
And while Miss Lamb isn't displaying any of these signs, there's also the possibility that she may be what's known in the trade as an overseer.
They'll stay clear of the actual drug courier, but they will watch them to make sure and see they get through all right, and then they'll go outside, and if they get through okay, they'll just meet up with them somewhere else. If they don't get through, then they'll tell whoever's organising it, or if they're organising it, they'll just keep going, they'll just leave them behind.
Over in quarantine, Rita is still finding food inside various bags belonging to the family.
But when you actually try sort of to conceal it and not tell me that I've only got food in that, oh, I'm not too sure, whatever. You packed your bags, so you must know. Virtually, you had food in every bag. Hey? Any more food do you think that you have?
No.
I mean, I've checked every bag except that box. Do you have food in that box?
Tiger balm.
Yep, that's fine. Geez, that's the only box that we didn't find any food in there. How did you miss that? Nothing, right? Every bag you had food, and you've only showed me the 2 bags, and when I asked, like, all you have to do is just be honest with us. And they're all food that you could have. Do you know what I mean? This is a legal document. You signed it to say yes, and when I ask you the verbal questions, you must tell me, this is what I have in those bags. Okay?
Thank you.
If the family fails to declare items of quarantine concern next time they arrive in Australia, they could be prosecuted and fined more than $60,000. Over in customs,
When I x-ray it, seems to be something inside it.
Thack says he bought the pictures in Saigon for a friend here. But an X-ray and a trace particle test suggest there may be drugs packed inside.
I still have some concerns about those prints.
Pardon?
Those prints?
Yeah.
Who are they for?
Huh?
Who are they for?
Louis.
Lewis?
Yeah, Louis.
Lewis. How do you know Lewis?
It's my friend long time, my boss.
You mind if I put a drill hole in the back here?
Yeah, yeah.
How about I drill somewhere there? Okay, just make a little drill hole and see if there's anything in there.
Officers are determined to find out what's inside those pictures. Back in customs, Jeff and Lee are getting a closer look inside Thack's suspect pictures.
When we swabbed it before, we got results for ephedrine. Ephedrine is evident in cold flu tablets, and they also use it for the manufacture of Ecstasy. Apart from seeing the segments in the wood, his whole demeanour is he's very nervous. He's clenching his fist a lot.
Lee also does a chemical narcotics test.
Shouldn't be any colour produced there. If I break the right ampule now, if there's anything in there, it should go a bluey colour. There's nothing there.
After drilling the suspect pictures and doing more drug tests, it seems these items are only made up of chipboard.
Well, we've got readings, we've got really good readings, and we've drilled it, we've checked it, there's absolutely nothing in the picture. So we've still got those drug readings, so I think we're going to need to do a body search. Just a frisk, just to see if he's got anything on his body.
I've got some concerns.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to see if you're carrying anything on your body.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
If you could have a read of one of these two cards.
Take everything out of your pockets, place everything out of your pockets onto the barrier.
He's got business cards in there, but most of the cards with writing on them are
They sometimes can stick small layers of narcotics in the layers of the shoe, underneath the soles of the shoes. So by X-raying, you get an idea of whether there's anything there or not, and it appears there isn't.
Thanks, mate. We'll just pack it up for you so it doesn't break. You're free to go.
Despite drug readings on his belongings, Thack is allowed to go home.
We were pretty sure that there was something in those pictures. As it turns out, there wasn't.
Let's do it.
In another part of customs, officers have had a breakthrough.
This one's only just coming around with a story about a package. She couldn't afford the trip. She saved up and managed to afford the trip but couldn't pay for the bags. Then she was told if she carried a package through for somebody else, they'd pay for her baggage.
All her bags have been searched and she's been frisked. So if she is carrying something illegal, there's only one place it could be.
We've got the Australian Federal Police on station and we've advised them we'd like to send somebody for an internal. So they've arrived and they're looking at, we've done statements up for them, so all the facts are there. They're reading over the statements, we're presenting everything to them, and if they're happy, if they agree with what we've presented, they'll take them to the hospital where a doctor will perform the internal, which is usually either a CAT scan or an X-ray or both. And then they'll take it further if they find anything.
A passenger must give consent before an internal exam can be conducted, and both passengers have done this. Cool? To customs, this doesn't indicate anything.
It doesn't indicate at all. We've had people that have been loaded that are just happy, yeah, quick, I'll sign up. And yet maybe they think they'll bluff us by saying, yes, I'm ready to sign up. I'll sign up now, let's go. They're keen, let's get out the door and let's go to the hospital.
At the hospital, both women were found to have swallowed packages of heroin with a combined weight of 220 grams. The street value of these drugs could be as much as $143,000. Miss Lamb was sentenced to 5 years and Miss Nguyen was sentenced to 5 years and 9 months. Before you even touch down on Australian soil, Customs will know a few things about you. They'll know who you are, where you are coming from and when you bought your ticket. And while that might not seem like a lot of information to you or me, it's a goldmine for Customs. And more than enough to start an investigation. Mr. Loon and Mr. Chong have just got off a flight from Malaysia. While all other passengers on their flight have cleared immigration and customs, their ticketing and travel details have raised a flag.
They're coming here for a short stay. They don't know what they're going to do here. The younger looking guy, he's very nervous, he's shaking a lot. And yeah, we're just trying to ascertain whether we think that they might have drugs with them or whether they're an immigration risk.
Either way, these two aren't going anywhere quickly. If you were travelling halfway across the world for 3 months, how much money would you bring? Brian from Texas only has $200, and that's attracted immigration's interest.
Lost his job about a week ago. He's only been working there for 3 months as a plant operator. He's got no debit cards, no credit cards. He's met this girl, what I have heard from Customs is about a couple of weeks ago. She is a Vietnamese exchange student.
Brian says he's fallen head over heels with a woman he met on the internet. He's never seen her in person before, and whether he will today is up to Ken in immigration.
Brian, is it? Yeah, come in, Brian. Whatever. Where with you? There's a teddy bear for you. Is that for your girlfriend?
Yes, sir.
Just let him there. Just come in the office here. Teddy will be okay. Just come in here, Brian.
So is Brian looking for love down under, or is he here for some other reason? That's what Ken needs to find out.
I'm going to ask you a number of questions that you must answer truthfully.
Yep.
The penalty for an offence against Section 234 of the Migration Act is 10 years imprisonment. Now, do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I just received a call from the customs duty manager. He's reported a live bird flying around the customs clearance area. We have a bit of a concern with live birds, purely for the reason of the avian influenza risk and also a Newcastle disease risk. They're both diseases of birds and poultry. I have a feeling that this bird is a domestic bird. We've been told it's flown in from outside, so that risk is lower. But we still need to try and catch it and remove it from the sterile area. I can actually see it right now, over. There's the elusive little pest. I feel a quote coming on, but I can't say it. An Elmer Fudd quote. He's pretty elusive.
Quarantine officers at Sydney Airport are used to dealing with high-flying problems. But what they're seeing today is one of a kind.
All in a day's work.
I have a relationship with my friend. I met her through the internet.
Over in immigration, Officer Ken is trying to work out Brian's reasons for coming to Australia.
Your girlfriend, let's call her Aunt. What do you call her?
Hania.
Hania.
Nickname.
Or Honey.
Pet names.
Yeah, okay.
Or Go Muay Tiger. That's our
what?
Pet. Go Muay Tiger. That means 10 tiger lady. that's just my nickname to her.
Okay.
If Brian's only here for love, he's packed some unusual items.
Information so far we've got is his forms in regards to his citizenship in America, his graduation certificate. He's got no details of where he's going to go, what he's going to do, or anything like that.
I noticed in some of your paperwork there you brought a work resume with you. Why did you bring that with you?
I was looking into maybe coming here to work and live, but that's if the relationship continued. That was on my mind.
Something in here about a Mr. Red. Who's Mr. Red?
That's the teddy bear outside. I gave him a nickname.
You know the conditions of a visitor's visa, don't you?
Yes, sir.
The main reason on a tourist visa is that you don't work.
Yes, sir. No working, yes.
Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. No working, yes. That's what I told her. I said, I can't work or anything, so how are you going to support me?
It's a hard decision for us to make here, but you must understand our position. Like I said, you've come here with a minimum amount of cash. You should have enough money to support yourself for 3 months, which is, well, you can work that out.
$200 won't get Brian past day one in Sydney, and relying on his cyber girlfriend for the rest of his stay is a big call.
I think you're coming here to work.
He's just above that foreign exchange sign right now, so I might have to flush him out.
Back in quarantine, the airport's unauthorised visitor is proving difficult to catch.
Damn.
Time to call in reinforcements.
What I'd like to do is I'll get you to move up that end of the hall and then work your way back, and I'll start from this end of the hall and work our way in the middle and see if we can flush it out. It is getting tired, so I've chased it a fair amount already.
Alrighty then, well, let's see how we go then.
All right.
Okay.
Every day, as many as 11,000 passengers arrive in Australia via Sydney Airport. Many of these passengers will be approached by customs and questioned about their travel. Most people don't mind. Some mind a lot.
You know, why is it I always get singled out? Because I'm black? Because I'm from West Africa?
Jim from Customs is actually satisfied that Roberto poses no threat. Just for a change, though, this passenger wants his bags to be searched.
No, I want to be searched, because then I can say, harassment 7 times. 7 times in 8 years.
But you get spoken to
7 times in 8 years.
So if you come here,
I've been coming here for 8 years, yeah, and this is the 7th time I have come here. I've only come to Australia 7 times, and 7 times guys like you come and harass me. 7 times. There's not one time where I've been able to go through like anyone else. Now, if you want to do it, let's do it. But tell me who your boss is, because I'm really angry now. I've had a 31-hour flight.
No, that's all right.
I think you're coming here to work.
No. If I was...
You had to think about that, didn't you?
Yeah.
With only $200 in his pocket and a vague promise of support from a woman he met online, Ken's doubting Brian's motives for coming to Australia.
You've got no incentive to go back to the United States?
I have very much incentive. At least there I'm at home. That's my home turf. Here, I already told her I don't have enough money. I only have enough for the plane ticket. So if I get there, you have to deal with the rest of the other part. You have to deal with me for 3 months. And will you deal with that part? And that's, she said, she agreed to it. And that was what she said. So if she still doesn't agree with that, then I have no reason to be here.
While Brian pleads his case to Ken, immigration manager Sarul calls his cyber love to check out his story.
And I said, are you going to be supporting him? She said, well, I don't know. So his expectations of her is much more than what she's telling me.
It's looking very much like we may consider cancelling your visa. Do you understand the implications of that?
No, sir.
Back in Sydney, Roberto's anger has reached boiling point.
No, 7 times I've been kept, passports, I've been asked where I'm from. Then
So
I've been
do that
told,
on every
the last
flight.
3 times I've been told that people from where I'm from in the world are troublemakers. You get a lot of hassle. I've been told that. Why should I accept that? Why should I accept being labelled?
At this point, Roberto spots the border security cameras.
I'll tell you the story. I've come here 7 times in 8 years. My wife is Australian. I always come here for 3 weeks or a month. I resent being told every time I come here that we get a lot of hassle from people from West African origin. I am a British citizen. Yes, I was born in West Africa. Why should I be harassed by folks like that every time I come to Australia? Shame on you, Australia.
So what will you do in Australia now for 7 days?
Oh, no, today. Very tired, go hotel, sleep.
Go to hotel and sleep? Is this your friend's first time to Australia as well?
Mr. Loon and Mr. Chong have told Customs they're businessmen here for a week's vacation. As Customs digs deeper, this story is becoming more and more unlikely.
Bank account?
Yeah.
Your bank account
No,
or
family.
family bank account details, yes?
Small details tell Customs a great deal about a passenger.
My guy's got about $1,000 in cash. He's got no credit cards or anything, but he does have the bank account details of the family in Penang.
Limited funds and information about an overseas bank account may be indicators that a person intends to work here illegally and send the money they earn overseas. Officers also need to be sure these two men aren't carrying drugs.
Is there any way I can plead my case to stay here?
In Sydney, Ken's still deciding whether to let Brian into the country.
Ask away.
For the time frame of 3 months of what I do to be here, then it's just to spend my time with her. She'll be going to work and I'll be staying home, wherever she has set up the place for me to stay.
In order to gather as much information as possible, Ken will talk to the woman Brian has come to meet.
Are you and Brian girlfriend and boyfriend?
Kind of friend.
Did you ask him to come to Australia?
No, I asked him if he wants to travel to see Sydney.
He really wants to see you.
So I don't know what happened.
So you'd look after him while he's here.
But he doesn't know anyone else.
You want him to come in here, don't you? You want to see him, don't you? Yeah.
I'm waiting for his decision and I'm trying to prepare myself if he says I got to go home. I'm thinking, please don't let me see her. So if they let me see her, then I'll probably even miss her more. So better just not let me see her.
Meanwhile, over in quarantine, officers Andrew and Cecilia are still chasing a lost bird. At this stage, they're not sure where the bird has come from. If it's stowed away on an incoming aircraft, the concern is that it might be carrying diseases into Australia.
I think I can see it under there.
Keep him into that alcove. Keep him into that alcove. Oh. Almost got him.
You see it anyway?
It's over there. Oh, beauty. Yeah, put him in there. Lock the door. Come on, little fella. Out you come. That's better. Nice and warm. Yeah, he's obviously flown in from outside. It's been trapped in the terminal because it's only a couple of points of entry, and because he's obviously a domestic bird, we'll look at letting him go. Look, ultimately, if there was any suspicion that this bird was of a quarantine concern, we would be obviously holding it for identification purposes. But like this is a common sparrow. It is obviously been caught up in the terminal for quite a while, so we're just going to look at releasing it. Okay. Off you go, little fella. It's good to get a happy end of the story, and it just makes all the effort worthwhile. You don't like to see animals caged up at the best of times, so we're happy with the outcome.
We're just having the gentleman frisked, conducting a frisk search to make sure that he hasn't got anything concealed on his body. We're just a little bit worried that he may be carrying narcotics somewhere on his body.
Okay, and now your other one? Yep, that's fine. Thank you.
No narcotics on Mr. Chong, but Mr. Loon has indicated he would rather be frisked in a private room.
This officer is going to do the frisk, okay?
So everything's ready to go?
Everything's ready to go. Lucia's out here if you need her, okay? Well, at the moment, they don't appear to have anything on them. Well, we'll see, obviously, once this frisk is done. So the only other place that it could be was inside their stomach. The other guy said he hasn't eaten anything since he's got on the plane, so that's another sign. But we'll ascertain whether we decide to refer them, and then we'll call the Federal Police and see if they're interested in having a further chat to them.
Back in Sydney, Roberto is trying to make a point about the way he feels customs do their job.
I've asked the gentleman and his wife, was I rude to them?
He hasn't been rude. He hasn't been rude. It's not about this man here.
Okay.
It's about your institution now.
Okay.
It's institutionally racist against people like me. Okay. Not about you, not about you. It's about the system.
So
look out for people from West Africa. People from West Africa happen to have one thing in common. They're all black.
We're getting a form called complaints and compliments. On that
last time I was given that form, I asked someone in your position, I said, if I fill that out, what will happen? And he turned around to me and said, probably nothing.
For me, I would never say that.
And I said, there you go, wasting my time again.
Something does happen. Look, I can't say for what his thought processes were, but something does happen. It's immediately referred to a specific complaints area that have to respond to you within a given time, in response to what you say.
Are they going to stop this wanton targeting of me every time I step on your fair island?
At Sydney Airport, Roberto and his wife are finally moving on. They're still not happy with the way they've been treated by customs.
Did you get all that? Thank you. It needs to change. This country cannot carry on like this with black people like me. Otherwise, we won't come anymore. It's not even as if I'm coming here on a Nigerian passport. I can't, look, that's a lion, This country gave birth to this one, So therefore, I come from a safe Western democracy, Why am I being treated as a terrorist or a drug smuggler or trafficker or criminal?
I feel very embarrassed to be Australian.
As far as Jim is concerned, though, it's just another day.
You don't worry about it. I mean, if you worry about everybody abusing you in this job, you would have quit years ago. You just cope with it, you know you're not like that. I just get a bit miffed because you tend to find people who are, say, of African descent or African American throw this that you're a racist at them all the time, and you're not. He just made a rod for himself. It was just like he was just making a big show. I don't know whether for her or just for his own benefit, If you
don't mind, excuse me, I've got to go and calm down, hire a car and go and enjoy my holiday.
Now, we called Kingsgate Hotel. You don't have a reservation there. You don't have a booking.
Booking?
Yeah, at Kingsgate Hotel.
Have?
No.
Yeah?
No, they say you don't.
Back in Melbourne, the frisk on Mr. Loon came up negative. But a detailed examination of their ticketing has revealed some interesting facts and a wider problem than first thought.
We linked them to two other people off the flight that are also with immigration. So it looks like we've missed the drugs and we've stopped a couple of people from coming into the country illegally to work.
In the end, it came down to good investigative work and finding the discrepancies in their stories.
First of all, they stated they had a booking at the Kingsgate Hotel, and we called the hotel and there was no booking there. Okay, and then secondly, we split the two passengers up so we could get different stories from them, and there were holes in the stories. One said they know each other from working in the construction industry, one said knowing each other from the gold jewellery design industry, so there were a few holes there. And also, they said they didn't know each other or the other two passengers. There was a group of 4 of them. Comparing their tickets, we found that all 4 were actually linked. We look at all sorts of documents. We go through everything, find tooth comb, we'll find it. The documents are there, indicators are there, we'll find them.
Investigations showed that these men were here to work illegally. For falsely declaring their intentions, both men were sent back home. The men are subject to a 3-year exclusion period from re-entering Australia.
Well, I've spoken to the girl at the front and she's expecting him and she's willing to support him. Look, I tend to believe her story. She got a little bit upset, which seems to me that there is some sort of a emotional attachment with this guy.
If he abides by the law, then I have to go. But if he abides by compassion and understanding, then he will let me stay. I think that's the bottom line of that situation.
I've just spoken to the manager and we've made a decision. Okay? And our decision is that we're going to let you in here. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Brian and Mr. Red's immediate future is settled. They're officially here for a holiday.
I'm very excited. I may not show it, but I am. A little bit scared, but I think I'll be all right.
As for any long-term romance, it seems that is completely up to fate.
Okay, that's it. Next case. Here we go.
It's customs' job to prevent drugs coming into this country. And every so often, officers board an aircraft and pull it apart in a thorough search. The operation begins with a briefing, like this one at Melbourne Airport, about a high-risk passenger aircraft arriving from Southeast Asia.
It's very possible that these guys are going to see you on the finger, or see you on the tarmac, and it could spook them if they are carrying.
These searches are a key element in detecting and deterring people who may be trying to bring drugs across the border.
Steve, then we should actually work back from the aircraft as well then, because if they get cold feet, it could be actually coming down the finger.
Very possible. Okay, so everyone happy with that?
The team, who are well trained in body language, observe passengers as they come off the plane. And once the passengers have disembarked, inside the aircraft, every nook and cranny is examined as the plane search begins. The detector dog does the first run through the plane. He has alerted the customs aircraft search team to a row of seats in economy. Officers check the area and find a small plastic bag in the seat pocket containing some sort of substance. Caleb has just arrived at Sydney Airport, a little dazed and confused. Customs are concerned about his reasons for visiting and want immigration to do some further investigations.
Had 3 flights totaling over 20-some hours. Lots of layovers between each flight. It really sucked.
And his day is going to get a lot worse. Now immigration is about to delve deeper into Caleb's personal life.
My name's Yvonne. I'm an officer from the Department of Immigration here in Australia. I need to do an interview, it's called a bona fides interview, to find out the purpose and details of your stay in Australia. It's going to be taped. Can you please tell me, why have you come to Australia and how long do you intend to be here?
I've come visiting a friend. Plan on staying about 2 weeks.
Okay, where are you going to stay while you're here in Australia?
Go stay at my friend's house.
Caleb has travelled across the world to meet a girl.
Just 2 college students happened to meet up online. She hasn't met anybody from the US. I haven't been to Australia, so decided to take a roll of the dice.
It's a gamble that might not pay off for Caleb. Every year, 23 million kilograms of letters and parcels come through this mail centre. It's staffed with highly qualified customs officers, trained in picking up suspicious posts. Sue has spotted a discrepancy in this registered mail from the Netherlands.
I think there's definitely something in them.
She suspects the parcels contain drugs.
We're going to get the dog squad over. I've just phoned them. We like to use all the tools available to us just so we can confirm definitely what we've got.
Watch how detector dog Gloria reacts to the scent she's picked up from the parcel.
Good dog. Oh, good girl, Gloria, you found it. Good dog.
Caleb has just flown in from the US to meet his internet love. The only problem is he doesn't have a lot of money, and immigration is worried if things don't work out, he may end up on the streets, destitute.
What funds have you got available to you while you're here?
About 100, and plus I have my Visa debit card.
Okay, what have you got available to you on the Visa debit card?
I'm not exactly sure. Probably $20, $30, but I have a $300 overdraft.
$100 for 2 weeks is really not very much money. How do you intend to support yourself?
I've stretched money worse than the situation I'm in now.
What will you do if, I guess, if you don't like the situation that you find once you get here and you find that you don't have a place to stay and you don't have enough money, what will you do then?
It's a risk coming here, but if that's the case, I'll come back and see if United can change my itinerary to leave as soon as possible.
Okay, be back soon.
Yvonne is sceptical about Caleb's story and needs to speak to her supervisor about her concerns.
He's a student in IT and he works at a pizza place.
Part-time job?
Yes.
Caleb's story has the immigration officers scratching their heads. Why would anyone travel across the globe with only the hope that someone they have never met will support them financially on their holiday?
Caleb, do you have a contact number for Cecilia?
She has a cell. I don't know what it is, though.
Would have been a good idea to bring it just in case.
I didn't think I needed it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I'll just see what we can do.
If immigration can't get in contact with Cecilia, Caleb's hopes of getting down to Melbourne may be very slim. Quarantine officers working the Nothing to Declare X-ray bench have discovered something suspicious in the luggage of this passenger returning from China.
Okay, we've got something organic in the middle of the big parcel, and it looks like it may be concealed, so we're just going to take a look at it.
Can you open that bag, please? Open that bag. Open it. Okay, this looks like there's something on the X-ray that's been concealed inside the blanket, something organic. So we're just seeing, it also look like there may be cigarettes concealed, but we're worried about organic matter.
Oh, look. My God, what is it?
In Melbourne, Thai Airways Flight 993 from Bangkok has touched down on schedule. One of its passengers has arrived with an unusual travelling companion.
It's a king cobra, so we're just trying to ascertain whether it is actually protected or not, and if we can release it back to him. So just to give you a look at it.
This snake is a native of Southeast Asia, and although it's not alive, we still have strict import laws regarding wildlife, dead or alive. But that's a surprise to Andre, who simply saw it as a fashion statement.
My friend's a fashion designer, so I thought I'd get him the material so he could make what he wanted out of it. I mean, they sell belts and all sorts of things. So, I mean, you know, those things Red Diamond doesn't in Bangkok. And I don't know if it's a protected species in Thailand because they're everywhere. So it's kind of weird. We should be informed of this. I mean, you know, it's a waste of my money and time to try and find a good skin. Yeah.
Officers must now determine if this snake is a protected species. As a thorough search of the plane continues, officers have already found one suspicious item.
I'm not sure at this stage. We'll put it in the itemizer. We'll get a reading up and see if we can establish what it may be. This stage we've got one tablet inside as well by the looks of it. Not entirely sure what it is at this point.
If it is illegal, then Customs will want to talk to the passengers who sat in that row before they leave the airport. So Steve heads down to the Customs hall to drug test it.
The end flight?
Yeah.
Okay, on the the alert we had? Yeah, if you did itemizer for us. I'm not concerned what that orange thing is.
The first test is negative, so they retry.
It's like
pass.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You happy?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
And as the search winds down on this aircraft, the good news is that the plane is clean.
All these searches, no matter how routine they are all a very important part of Customs work. There have been times on very low-risk flights where we've found things like cocaine, pornography that have led to major investigations down the track.
Recently, there was a major drug find when a sniffer dog gave a positive reaction to a strange packet that was left in an airline toilet. It was a body pack, a bag holding drugs which is worn around the body. The body pack was removed from the plane and examined. It contained a large quantity of illegal drugs. The drugs in the body pack contained several $1 million worth of narcotics. An investigation is continuing.
And here. Good dog.
In the mail handling centre, the drama is unfolding as Sue and Paulette open up the suspicious parcels.
Woo! Feels pretty deep.
Wow.
Well, it looks like some tablets.
Yeah? That definitely looks like ecstasy to me.
Sure does. Looks like it's got something on it, a 4-leaf clover.
Yeah. All right, let's do an ion scan and a narco test on that one. That's great.
The fluid in this special narcotics testing kit will turn bright blue if it's positive.
Oh, look at that.
What a blue reaction.
That's magnificent. As you can see, the dot on the test indicates the colour the liquid should turn, and that's a perfect reaction.
The two romance novels contained around 767 grams of the love drug Ecstasy, with a street value of $60,000. But that's not the only surprise package that's arrived today.
We actually got 2 boxes to the same recipient, so we'll now have to go through them piece by piece and see exactly what's here.
Quarantine officers believe the passenger was trying to smuggle something into the country.
They look like bulbs.
If they are bulbs, and if this man was trying to smuggle them in, then he's in some serious trouble.
Very sneaky.
Yeah, oh, you tried to sneak this in, didn't you?
They are taro bulbs, live plants prohibited under quarantine law. Officers are in the process of determining just what action to take. To make matters worse, the man is a vegetable farmer and admits he may cultivate the prohibited bulbs, an extremely serious quarantine offence.
Their Australian passport, the Chinese don't speak, they've concealed this. It was hidden, wrapped inside this. He knows it's concealed. Everything, the cigarettes were, all the little bits of food we found have been concealed and not declared.
When something like this happens, we treat it very serious. This guy's admitted to us that he's a farmer and he's brought it in here to cultivate it.
Quarantine supervisor Jock has been called in to assess the situation. Firstly, he determines whether the passenger, an Australian citizen, makes a habit of flouting quarantine law.
Could you just explain to him on the seriousness of what it is and why we've got to keep the material, and we'll give him a formal caution?
Then there's the issue of smuggling.
But what about that it was obviously concealed? That doesn't...
It is very hard to make the accusation of concealment because anyone can pack material like this in a way that protects the material.
The man is given a written warning, which explains that he'll be in the system for the next time.
If this guy tries something like this again, he won't be so lucky. It could actually lead to a prosecution, $60,000 fine, or possible imprisonment.
The taro bulbs were seized because they can carry a variety of diseases which can cause immense problems for Australian potato and tomato farmers. Meanwhile, over in immigration, things are not looking good for Caleb. He is stuck in Sydney and officers won't let him go until they speak with his internet love, Cecilia.
Yeah?
Since originally she planned on meeting me at the United terminal over in Melbourne, couldn't you just call the counter over there and ask somebody?
Is that where you arranged as a meeting point?
Yeah. I don't know if she knows about my new flight. That I've probably missed also doing all this.
Okay.
But
All right, well, I'll give that a try then. Okay, the United counter at Melbourne Airport. Yes, hello Rory, this is Yvonne calling from Immigration at Sydney Airport. I was just wondering whether you've had a phone call from someone who may be waiting for somebody from a connecting flight in Sydney? No, they haven't approached you?
Customs advise tourists to be extremely wary of buying wildlife products overseas. A serious offence could lead to 10 years in jail and a fine of over $100,000. And that includes transit passengers like this one.
Okay, what it is actually protected, so it doesn't matter that you're actually in transit.
Right.
We'll have to actually seize it at the moment.
So if I actually purchased the belt of this, that wouldn't have mattered.
Same thing, whether it's a belt, boots, we still hold.
Because they like sell tons of belts.
We just held some before. Someone came through with a pair of cowboy boots.
The snake may be protected under CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species. Not all countries are part of it, and that's got Andre stumped.
Yeah, and then, you know, I'd be all for that, but, you know, that's just crossing borders and going into different countries that has different laws and rules.
You need to actually make yourself aware, though, of rules and regulations of countries that you're visiting. We can't tell you everything. You'd have an encyclopedia of information if we had to tell you everything.
Oh, that's my form. With my seizure number to see if I can recoup the goods, which I don't think is going to happen.
Thousands of products are seized every year because the goods are made from species protected under CITES. Goods include animal skins, ivory and coral souvenirs. The snakeskin was confiscated because king cobras are a protected species. Caleb has flown around the world to meet the woman he's fallen in love with on the internet. While he's interviewed by immigration in Sydney, Cecilia has been tracked down in Melbourne as she waits to meet her cyberspace man.
At this stage, all I want to do is I want to verify and make sure that he is in a position to enjoy a holiday without, without getting into trouble financially, I guess.
Lucky for Caleb that Cecilia has confirmed his story.
I met him over the internet about 2 years ago. We started emailing each other, and at the beginning of this year, he asked me for my number, I gave it to him, and he called me, and we've been chatting on the phone ever since.
But Yvonne still has her concerns.
What happens if this doesn't work out? What happens if they're not happy with each other and Caleb's left walking the streets of Melbourne with no money?
Tell her he doesn't have money beyond basically a day. If she's totally taken aback by the fact that he's basically only got enough money for a day or so, she better know up front what she's in for, because then we'll know whether she's prepared to support him.
If Cecilia doesn't agree to support Caleb, he might find himself on a plane heading back to the States that afternoon.
Hello, Cecilia. Okay, I've just been speaking with my manager. Okay, I do need to put it to you. Basically, Caleb really only has enough money to support himself a day, maybe two. Are you prepared to support him if the need comes up? Yes? Yeah? Are you certain that you're okay with that?
Caleb's sweetheart has given Yvonne the information she needs, and she says she will support him during his visit to Australia.
Bye.
Things have a weird way of working out, and even though I haven't met her, we both love each other very much. And I just need that closure of finally meeting her to solidify all the things that have been said and feelings and whatnot.
This interview is recommencing at 11:43. Caleb, I'm sorry to have kept you waiting, but Cecilia has backed up everything that you said. Yes. Okay, she says she's prepared to support you, to have you stay with her while you're here. And on that basis, you know, we're going to let you go today, let you go and catch a connecting flight to Melbourne.
But believe me, I am psyched about that. I can't wait. It's just, I can't help but feel a little disappointed in some of the details, such as not having so much money on me, have to rely on her for support. That's never a nice thing, you know, makes you look like a bum.
The past 2 years have been awesome. Got to know this guy based on his personality rather than on his looks, so on an emotional level we connect, so it's good. Now I have to see what he looks like.
Sue and Paulette have already found 2 romance novels packed with ecstasy. Now they're searching 2 other dubious packages.
Well, it would appear that Paulette has found another consignment. We're just doing some initial testing on it now. We've got several different types of pills. We've got some powder, but we've got Another nice strong reaction on a narco test kit, almost identical to the previous consignment.
It's like a mini chemist shop in a box. And once again, the test is positive for the narcotic methamphetamine.
This will be a referral to the Federal Police.
Apart from a variety of prescription-only pharmaceuticals, the package contained about 4 grams of ice or glass, slang terms for a pure, smokable form of methamphetamine, an extremely addictive stimulant. Later that day, another package arrived addressed to the same recipient. It contained another 4 grams of powder. A good find considering the sender had a few packing tricks.
You know what I noticed? They had these deodorizers. This package has this deodorizer as well, so probably to put a scent out to divert dogs.
Yeah. A lot of people believe that a strong scent of maybe flowers or perfume, something like that, might throw our drug detector dogs off. It's not the case. The dogs can smell through the various layers and still pick up the substances that we're interested in, but they will try it anyway.
All of these illegal drugs were seized by the Federal Police and an investigation continues. After a hiccup with his ticketing, Caleb arrived in Melbourne that afternoon. Although he was 6 hours late, Cecilia is still waiting for him.
I'm meeting a person I've never met after all. All I have is a fuzzy picture of him, so if anything, he's gonna have to spot me first. But I don't know how to react when he comes walking out through that gate. It's gonna be so surreal. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, good. Are you tired?
I'm beyond tired. Half dead.
Okay, let's get back home.
After spending 2 years of cyberspace sweet talk getting to know each other, it didn't take long for a crash to occur. "95% of cargo coming into Australia is shipped in containers like these. They can hold just about anything. Which is why Customs is so interested in inspecting them. 2 days ago, this container arrived at Port Botany from the Philippines.
Phew. Oh, I smell that. What's supposed to be in here? Glassware. Glassware?
It's definitely not glassware, and whoever brought this into the country has a lot of explaining to do.
That's it. This one.
Every day, customs officers are checking for illegal drugs. Sometimes they find passengers who are drug users. In this case, customs will want to make very sure they aren't trying to carry drugs across the border.
So, where do you start from?
Where do I start from? Manchester.
Yeah. And then you went to Singapore?
No, I went to Frankfurt, then we got off the plane and then reboarded Singapore to here. So.
Did you stop? Did you have a stopover in Singapore, or
No.
Are you traveling with somebody else?
No, I'm on my own.
This normal conversation is a risk assessment technique. The passenger's answers and demeanour will help the officer work out if he's telling the truth.
How much do you have in your bank account now?
My bank? About £2,200, maybe a bit more, and I get paid tomorrow as well. I get paid another $570 tomorrow. So it's about 2,700 in total.
And you have a credit card?
I've got a credit card that's got about £100 on it, but I've got people at home. My mum and my dad are also.
They're gonna support you?
They can support me, yeah. And my girlfriend's got plenty of cash here as well.
Another tool used by customs is the ion scan. This test will determine if the passenger or his luggage has been in contact with narcotics. The container was supposed to carry glassware, but this is raw tobacco, nearly 2 tons of it, and none of it's been declared. So now officers will start investigations to determine the owner of the tobacco.
There's a lot of money involved in tobacco if they can evade duty, sales tax, etc., or GST in this case.
the amount of money they're evading paying is enormous, and what do they do is they take it somewhere, put it in smaller packets, sell it to distribution points all around the country. I don't know.
It's not just revenue evasion that has customs worried. Raw tobacco leaves also pose a serious quarantine risk.
Unfortunately, we can't get all the leaf out, but that's part of the stem which makes it a prohibited import. There could be bugs and anything in this stuff.
Australia's tobacco industry employs thousands of people, so an uncontrollable outbreak of disease could seriously affect the livelihoods of countless Australian families. There are penalties for violating quarantine laws and organising and possessing the importation of tobacco, so whoever arranged this shipment might be in for some very bad news. Back in Sydney, the customs officer wants to know why this passenger's bags and phone have tested positive to traces of drugs.
You got high cocaine readings from your mobile phone and your toiletry bag?
High what?
Cocaine reading.
Right, well, so I haven't got
Have
any
you been in contact with?
I always have people around my parties and that, but I don't use it.
Have you used it?
I have before, not recently and not for a while. So.
When was the last time when you used it?
Maybe last week, but
Last week,
but it's not something I use.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which day?
Maybe at the weekends, but nothing that I use. Someone gave me it a bit, and I don't buy it. So.
You didn't buy it?
No, I don't buy it.
How often do you use it?
Every now and again, if someone just says to you, a little bit, but it's not.
Once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week?
Maybe once a week if something's happening, but not very often.
Sometimes twice a week?
No, not really, no. Once a week, maybe. As I say, if someone's doing something, but...
Are you carrying anything at all?
No. I swear on my life.
Even one unit?
With cocaine readings on his bags and his phone, and an admission that he's used cocaine, Customs is now much more interested in this passenger. Nearly 2 tons of undeclared raw tobacco has been discovered in a container. And now Customs has some digging to do in order to find the importer. What officers discover is that the people responsible for importing the tobacco have used the name of a similar legitimate company. This type of deception has been seen by customs officers before. But are the tobacco bales hiding something else?
This one, Lee, actually has a marking.
I meant to tell you that there's a hole there, and it appears to be a void space in there. The only way we're going to find out from that is either rip it open, or I prefer to X-ray it first and figure out what's there. Look, it might be nothing, it might be just a hole put in there, but then again, we don't know.
Yeah, all right.
So we put it through the X-ray.
Why would that leaf be sticking out like that, though?
Good question.
Could have been just picked up in shipment.
Yeah,
but why would you stick it on the outside unless you wanted to mark the bale in some way?
As a special.
So that somebody would know that there was something in there, especially if there's a hole in it.
Yeah. All right. X-ray and see what we come up with.
Yeah, all right.
Incoming passenger cards like this one are printed in 13 languages. So there's no excuse if you get caught doing something wrong. As this woman at Sydney Airport is about to find out. A standard baggage X-ray has revealed something interesting in her luggage.
What's this one? There's a couple of boxes of them. One there. Yeah, it looks like it's all the same. It's a sweet, but I'm just checking to see whether there's actually an egg yolk inside. So you've got that round image there, but inside you've also got something which tells us there's some kind of filling in there. So what we might do is just cut it open. Okay, see there's an egg yolk in there, which is a high risk. It's got egg in it. It's a high risk for the sheer fact of the avian influenza. It can carry diseases, so that's got to go.
The quarantine officer has a right to be concerned, as avian influenza is more commonly known as the deadly bird flu.
Basically, the passenger doesn't speak English, so the officer's using the book you know, to make it a little bit easier. She's got high-risk items. She's also got a tin of shredded pork here. She's got the fresh produce over there. So all items are very high risk.
Admitting to drug use is not an offence in itself, but the customs officer still has a job to make sure that no drugs cross the border.
My toilet scissors are left in my bathroom, or if I take them somewhere in a bathroom, so I mean they could be in contact, so I always put them out on the side, so they could be in contact with.
What about the mobile phone?
Again, that's left on the phone, on the side everywhere, the mobile. Anyway, I don't keep it in my pocket permanently, and a lot of other people use my mobile as well. So.
Do you live by yourself or you're living with somebody?
No, I live with friends, and I just temporarily moved to my friends as well. I've kept my flat, but someone's looking after my flat whilst I'm away. But I've moved into a flat where a lot of people go around all the time. So.
Okay. Are you 101% sure there's nothing in this bag?
101%.
101%?
Yeah, well, I can guarantee.
In your pocket?
I can guarantee, from the best of my knowledge, that there's nothing there. That's it from the pockets.
Nothing else in your pockets?
No.
Because of the positive drug test on the passengers' bags, nothing can be overlooked.
Is your girlfriend a user as well?
It has been before, but not anymore. But one of the main reasons I'm here is because I want to stop drinking and I want to get out of England and get away from every person and bits and bits like that. So
there's no drugs found in the passenger's bag. Customs is concerned that they still could be concealed on his body, so the officer decides to have the passenger frisked. And with that, this passenger is free to enter the country. Customs are satisfied he's clean. Admitting to drug use is not an offence, but attempts to bring drugs across the border can result in heavy penalties, including fines of up to $750,000 and life in jail.
We can fine the passenger, only that we know that she's been here before and that the passenger card's actually in her own language, which therefore states that she understood it clearly.
In Sydney, quarantine officers are faced with a choice. They must decide how to proceed with a woman who has tried to bring high-risk, undeclared items into the country.
File and see if there's anything there. Just let me know, we'll make a decision on it.
All passengers who are warned or fined by quarantine are recorded on a computer database.
No infringements, no warnings. So either it's her first time doing the wrong thing or first time being caught.
Back at the Sydney container facility, an X-ray shows that there's nothing concealed inside the tobacco bales.
It's actually quite consistent. There's nothing concealed in the middle of that.
Nah, it's all it's the same. Okay. Appears from that there's nothing in there. It's all very consistent. You know, you're looking for any inconsistency, something denser or less, or even less dense, because the tobacco is really, really packed tightly. In this case, we're looking at it there, and you can see quite clearly, apart from the pallet underneath, it's all very consistent. We're happy there's nothing there, apart from tobacco.
The customs officers on the waterfront have now done everything they can. Responsibility for catching the tobacco smuggler will now be passed on to the investigations unit. The illegal tobacco was allowed to leave the quarantine area, and the importer was unaware that customs investigators were following the truck to the delivery point.
Our mission is to conduct a managed delivery of the container, execute 198 and 203 warrants, to search additional premises that are identified resultant to the operation, to seize evidence relating to the importation of the container, and to identify, apprehend and prosecute offenders involved with the importation of the container.
The truck carrying the container has just left the facility. What we intend to do is just follow the container to where it's going to be delivered. When the suspects open the container, we'll be in a position to move in. All right, moving in.
Everybody mobile to the premises, the doors have been opened.
There you go, mate. You want to stop what you're doing? Go from customs.
Last year we brought you the story of Deborah, a woman from the United Kingdom who fell foul of Australia's immigration laws.
I'll give you his work number. If the decision is made to cancel your visa, then you will be put on the first plane back to the UK. This is ridiculous.
Since then, there's been a major development. But first, a recap. Deborah came to Australia a couple of years ago. She fell in love with Matthew and they planned a life together. But Deborah overstayed her holiday visa. So now she's re-entered the country with another tourist visa, which is a big mistake.
She's coming back to Australia on a tourist visa, but she's overstayed previously, so she may not be entitled to have that visa.
Okay, what's the purpose of this trip into Australia? What's the purpose of this trip? Yeah. My life is here, I have a boyfriend here.
Deborah had arranged her visa through an immigration lawyer, but she may not have got the best advice.
The situation is she has an Australian citizen boyfriend who I've just rung up. She's been living with him since last year. The ETA that she applied for on shore was done through a migration agent.
This immigration agent told me, and I asked him specifically the question, are you 100% certain she'll be, able to get back into Australia? And he says to me, I am 100% certain if she isn't, she'll be the first person ever not to be allowed in.
This migration agent, he should have explained it to you that there was a 3-year automatic exclusion period, okay?
No one has told me this. I wouldn't be having, I don't want to go for this. I have a relationship here. I don't even know whether to continue or to finish. It's just everything is up in the air and I just want to get it sorted out once and for all. I would like to stay here.
If Deborah's visa is cancelled, it could mean a 3-year ban from entering Australia and goodbye to Matthew.
I asked whether I could go out there and see her and, the answer is quite simply no, because it's behind the line, which was really tough, which was really hard.
Okay, 220.
In Sydney, officers have reached a decision. There's enough evidence to suggest that the woman has knowingly tried to deceive quarantine. And with the high-risk food items in her possession, the result is a $220 fine.
Okay, just read this one for me. Have you got a radio? Do you understand this one? Yeah. I take, but you still. Yep, listen, you still. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'll take, but you still. You read that. You need to pay this. Yeah.
The passenger might not be happy, but the fine still stands. And it needs to be paid immediately. It's not a very good way to start a holiday, but Australia's quarantine laws are strict for very good reasons. At Sydney Airport, immigration is still considering Deborah's case after she was given the wrong advice about re-entering the country with a tourist visa.
I'll come back in. I'll give you a few moments to compose yourself and think about what you want to say.
Deborah has one chance only of getting back into Australia.
If she comes up with something new, different, a good reason, the cancellation may not actually go through.
All right, Deborah, do you have anything you wish to say in response to the grounds for cancellation?
I have a partner here, I have a bank account here. I'm here with the intention of actually staying and working lawfully here.
Cancellation means a flight back to the UK and a 3-year ban from Australia.
I didn't realise it was a 3-year exclusion. So I've been a bit ignorant, I've been silly, I'll put my hand up to that, but I haven't done anything intentionally. If I knew this was the situation, I would have bought my own ticket, packed my own bags and say goodbye to the people that I wanted to say goodbye to, not live like this. This is a disgrace for me.
Yeah, mate, you want to stop what you're doing? We're from Customs.
Hey?
In Sydney, the shipment of illegal tobacco leaves has reached its destination. And a customs investigator moves in to question a man unpacking the container.
While I'm questioning you, you may have a legal practitioner present. What I'd like to do is just ask you a number of questions about what you're doing here.
I'm not even, I swear to God, I'm
Okay.
not. I'll just figure it out.
Okay, mate. Well, who gave you instructions to be here today?
I got a phone call last night.
Who from?
By the, way.
Right, is he married?
Yeah.
What's his wife's name?
I don't know his wife's name, mate.
So he's a good mate. You don't know where he lives. You don't know his wife's name.
Long time
All right.
companion.
Who's responsible for importing this, do you know?
wouldn't have a clue. I would not have a clue. I didn't know what was in this. I'm just unloading. I saw there were boxes, that's it.
What else can you tell me about this container?
Nothing at all, mate. I swear to you, nothing at all. I'm here to unload, get paid for it, and that's it.
All right, well, mate, we're going to have to check out your story.
Sure you can. You can. In fact, I'm totally innocent, I swear to God.
What I'm going to do, I'm just going to conduct a quick frisk search on you, all right?
You go in there and do it?
Yeah, I prefer that.
Mm-hmm. I prefer that too.
I've been out of England for 2 years. I don't even know where to start if I go back there. This was never my intention. I'm not a drug smuggler. I've never broken any laws here.
You have broken the Migration Act.
I mean, I have broken
Okay.
an immigration law, yes.
Alan and his manager will now decide whether Deborah can re-enter the country.
I think the cancellation has to proceed.
Okay.
You comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable, yes.
Okay, cool.
We'll
Yeah.
proceed to cancellation then?
Yep.
Now Alan has to break the news.
Deborah, the decision has been made to cancel your visa. The visa was initially granted to you invalidly because you were within Australia at the time of the grant. And you are subject to a 3-year exclusion period. Okay? Now, that can be waived in an overseas post, but it cannot be waived here at the border.
You're going to have to call me back in about 10 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Deborah was flown back to the UK that evening.
You can't say goodbye to someone properly over the phone. You know, you just can't.
Well, it wasn't goodbye for long, and a little over a year later, it's a different story entirely. When Deborah arrived back in the UK, she applied for a waiver of the 3-year exclusion period on the basis of her relationship with Matthew, and she was successful. Just a couple of months ago, back in Australia, Deborah and Matthew were married. With the tobacco raid over, the packer has been cleared and another man, believed to be the importer, has been taken into custody. This is a complex fraud involving the creation of false identities and false companies. The importer was convicted on all 3 charges: importing a prohibited import, possessing a prohibited import, and making a false statement. He was fined a total of $30,000 and was also ordered to pay costs of $5,000, including the cost of destroying the tobacco. In the customs hall, one passenger is trying hard not to draw attention to himself.
The guy came up to the nothing to declare gate, and he had a bag which is pretty much what a businessman would carry. Just looking at him through his appearance, he looked quite shabby, and he's trying to appear as a business type of person, traveller.
Paul has just arrived from Argentina on flight AR 1182.
A colleague of mine, a friend of mine.
A friend of yours. Do you have your friend's name?
It is a Brazilian name.
It's a Brazilian name. A friend of yours?
Not a friend, a colleague.
Yeah.
Someone I met.
Yeah. How long ago did you meet him?
About 3 to 6 months ago.
And you trust him to pack your bags?
Yeah, I've been trust each other.
Yeah.
We trust each other.
Is this your blanket?
No.
It's not your blanket. Where did the blanket come from?
I don't know.
Yeah. Do you know what this is here? These are?
I've no idea.
No? It's your bag, isn't it?
This is my bag, but I didn't pack it.
Who packed it?
Like I said, a colleague of mine.
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
Did you know what he was putting in your bag?
Over in quarantine, a student has arrived with more food than books.
Wording being any food, sir. Okay, by the looks of it, you've got a bag full of food.
Oh.
So you need it to declare. There is lots of food here, and you're coming here to work?
No, study.
Study?
Yeah.
How long have you been studying here?
2.5 years.
2.5 years? Okay. You have 2 cartons of cigarettes. Do you have any more than this?
No,
Only 2?
just got 2.
Do you have any clothes in your bag, or you only have lots of food?
No.
No clothes?
The chocolate and noodles mostly.
Fish? Do you have any more food in that bag?
No, just one water.
What's in this one? Another cigarette? Do you have any more cigarettes?
No.
For failing to declare his food, this Chinese student faces at least $110 fine.
This is a lot of food, okay, and you've been living in Australia for a long time, okay?
I don't understand.
You don't understand?
Yeah.
You've been studying here and you don't understand?
Yeah.
Something unusual has been found in Paul's suitcase. Now he has some explaining to do.
Huh? I put my clothing on my bed. I stuck the clothing at the bottom, obviously. No idea what that is.
The suspicious packages concealed in his luggage are about to be X-rayed.
What we've got here is a couple of statues that we've found in his baggage. Once we put them through the X-ray, we can see quite a dense organic matter inside the statue itself.
When AR-1182 arrived from Argentina, one passenger attracted the attention of sniffer dogs.
The dogs just come up to this particular passenger and basically just sniffed him for about a second and then just gave a very, very strong sit response. So that's an indication to us that there's narcotics either on their body or in their bags.
And it's the last thing this passenger needed.
Your mother was sick. Okay, you went to visit her?
Yeah, and an uncle died, so hey.
The passenger's bags are X-rayed to reveal if he has anything tucked away.
2 screws put in the place of the bag, maybe for reinforcement or something.
I want to know why it's happening.
You can tell from here, that's one of the runners on the bottom of the bag. All bags have 2 runners. There's no runner on this side. The runner on this side has 1, 2, 3 screws and plus another one up here. And it's obvious that this one's been taken off.
Melbourne International Airport, customs officers have just discovered a huge wad of undeclared cash in the bag of a passenger who has arrived from Hong Kong.
She's got at least 15,000 Australian, but we're unsure if she's got 2 other currencies, US currency and Chinese. We're just going to try and determine why she's brought the money and how much money she actually does have with her.
Passengers must declare cash in excess of $10,000. The lady's husband hasn't declared his large stash of money either.
So do you have any other money in your pockets? Cash. Do you have cash in your pockets?
Customs officers work closely with the federal police, unearthing leads to criminal syndicates moving dirty money across our borders. And if you're trying to conceal large amounts of cash, it means you may be considered a little suspicious.
Oh, well, I guess if it comes from proceeds of crime or something, it's come from an illegal source, they don't want their government to have a record of the cash transaction.
Could you tell her what we'd like to do is go into a private room and count the money, okay, in front of her. We just need to get exactly how much there is. So you come with us and we'll have a look.
If the passenger can't come up with a good excuse for not declaring her oversized bundle of cash, she could be in serious trouble and lose her money. Paul says a friend packed his bags. Now he's about to find out how much trouble his friend has landed him in.
We're just doing an iron scan analysis on the outside packaging of the statue. We'd like to confirm if it is actually narcotics in that statue or whether it is something else.
What I'm going to do is do an analysis of the swab. What it does is it just picks up the ion scan particles from this machine, spits back what could be a narcotic substance. That's what we're looking for.
In quarantine, Anne is weighing up what to do with the passenger.
We have a lot of food. Food's okay, but the problem is he hasn't declared it. And he's got a bag full of food and no clothes. Basically what I'm going to do today, all right, because this declaration you've signed and you haven't declared all this food, okay? And I did ask you, I gave you a chance to tell me that you had food in your bag and you didn't. You said that you understood.
I just say I got the food.
No. So today what we're going to do is charge you $110 and also your passport number will go on the computer. What I'm charging you $110 today is because you haven't made the declaration.
I don't have money.
You don't have any money? Let me get my supervisor. Yeah, I understand you're a student, sir, but you've been here 2.5 years, but you've been in and out of Australia about 4 times. So you need to respect our laws as well, because you're in a little bit of trouble.
I know.
Okay, what we've got here is a really high reading for cocaine.
This positive drug test is not good news, but Paul is still claiming the statues aren't his and that someone else packed his bag for him.
You do not have to say or do anything, but anything you do say or do may be used as evidence. Do you understand that?
There's this bubble wrap there. You can smell the paint on it, can't you? Where's the concealment? Down in the main part there. Have a look at the plug underneath there. Is it soft in there? Where did you get the statues from?
At Sydney Airport, this student's day has just become worse. As well as a $110 quarantine fine, he's about to get hit by customs for unpaid duty on his cigarettes.
Has anyone explained to you the situation with the cigarettes at the moment? No? Okay. Well, basically, coming into Australia, you're allowed 250 sticks, okay? 250 only, okay? This is 200, so this is okay, but you've got 3 times this, okay? So
if someone tell me just get 2, it's okay.
If you bring in more than 1, you have to pay on the whole amount.
I don't know.
No. It'll be about 150 Australian dollars. It could be a bit less. And
duty-free concessions only apply within the limit of 250 cigarettes. Anything over that, and duty and tax is paid on the lot.
You don't want it? You want to leave them behind?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as if that wasn't bad enough news, Quarantine has taken a closer look at the contents of one packet and have changed their minds about his undeclared food.
Prohibited. So the green beans, mung beans?
It changes it, it's 220.
Okay, 220, that's fine.
Just now, I've just checked with my supervisor, and this one here actually has beans in it, mung beans. Okay, all this other food is okay, and that would have been 110, but this is prohibited to come into Australia, so that's $220 fine.
I don't have that.
Yeah, but you still have to pay the fine. You can't have this, you can't have this.
I don't know about that. What kind of this?
Well, you needed to declare it, but you didn't declare it, and it's a prohibited item.
Customs hall, Oscar's sports bag appears to have been altered.
See the base under there, which is a different colour to that. The base there is grayer. As you can see the 8 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If it was a normal bag, it wouldn't have any different compartments there. It'd be just one slab, the base of the bag made of cardboard or wood. You can see the distinction between the bag and the base down the middle there. So I'd say the bag was reconstructed and the bags were put in there.
What's happening? What's the problem?
Okay, my officer just told me that there could be a concealment in this bag. Okay,
I've just taken an X-ray of that bag.
Yeah.
And it looks like there's something in the bottom of it. Okay. Caution him.
So I must caution you, you do not have to say or do anything. Anything you do say or do may be used in evidence. Do you understand that?
We'll just take an iron scan of the bag and see if we can tell what it is.
In customs, Oscar is lost for words.
Do you know what's inside the bag?
What? Now, nothing. Then you say, I pick up my bag, I put my stuff in clothes.
The swab was taken from the gentleman's whole luggage.
Nothing else. Should be a new bag.
Sorry?
It should be a new bag.
That bag is new?
This passenger tried to cross the border with a lot of undeclared cash. Now officers have taken her into an interview room to count it.
So we're just going to count this money in front of her.
At the bench, Jason is satisfied that her husband is carrying under $10,000.
But a lot of people bring that much cash just for their holiday. Students, pay their fees off, buy property, gamble. That'd be legitimate purposes. I guess there's as many as, there are legitimate, there's, wrong reasons to bring it as well, so.
And a currency conversion has shown the passenger is carrying about twice the amount she should have.
For the sake of 10 minutes though, if she'd filled this out previously and then come in and said, oh, I've declared the cash, see you later.
After a lot of explaining, the passenger filled out an excess cash report. Had she declared her cash, she could have avoided spending hours in customs. Passengers are allowed to bring any amount of money across the border, but they must declare amounts over $10,000 or risk a penalty. Meanwhile, at Sydney Airport, our cash-strapped Chinese student has just seen his quarantine fine double. And on top of that, $152 for unpaid duty on his cigarettes.
Why I paid $200 for this?
Because you still can't have it, but it now has seeds in it. We didn't realise.
I don't know.
Yeah, because this has seeds. See the seeds in here? Okay, the green ones and the red ones are seeds. They're the prohibited item. What you have here is not prohibited, but we still ask you to declare it. And as soon as you have prohibited items, this is like bringing in meat.
What that means? I don't know what that means. What's that food? I don't know.
It means it's not allowed. The seeds,
The
are
seeds
viable here, and they
will
could
grow.
cause the disease.
And now you need to come up with $220. If you don't pay now,
So you either pay the prescribed penalty
you
or
pay
you go to
pay the amount now.
Yep.
You'll pay now.
And the cigarette.
Customs are looking after that as well. That's a separate issue. Okay.
All right, you can pack this one up.
The student has finally accepted his fate, but he's not happy about it.
They suck.
So that's the amount.
How much for all?
The cigarettes come to $152.30, but you didn't want to take the cigarettes, did you? Or have you changed
I want
your
to
mind?
take cigarette.
You do want them now?
I want cigarettes.
Okay.
Wait a minute, did we say cash-strapped student?
Is that interesting? I just think about food. No chicken, no beef, something about that. And I think it's okay. So I didn't take that.
But it's not okay, and the officer tries one last time to make sure the passenger has got the message.
Okay, but just be aware that your passport number is on the computer, so you must declare everything next time, okay? And then you won't be charged.
See ya.
I'm not sure that we actually educated him, but hopefully, he will take an account next time he comes in. He will be aware that he has to declare everything that he has.
At Sydney Airport,
It's obviously been freshly painted.
customs officers are interrogating Paul about a collection of statues found in his luggage.
When was the last time you opened the bag?
Must have been
and I left Sao Paulo.
What were you doing over there?
I was on my way here to Australia.
The statues have tested positive for traces of cocaine.
So you came from where?
Sao Paulo.
From Brazil?
Brazil, yeah.
From South Africa originally?
South Africa, yeah.
To Brazil? Yeah. To here? So what were you doing going through Brazil to get to here? Why didn't you come direct from South Africa to here?
A ticket was bought for me through that way.
Who bought the ticket for you?
A friend of mine, the same friend.
Same friend who?
Sao Paulo, yeah.
So you hadn't opened this bag since you left South Africa, is that right?
No. This bag was packed for me in Sao Paulo.
For you? You didn't pack it yourself?
I didn't pack it. I only packed it one day.
Okay.
These clothes are laid out on my bed.
Yeah.
So he packed it for me. And I come here, it's funny to find this stuff.
Customs, Sydney Airport, and Oscar is claiming ignorance about the contents of his bag.
It's positive.
It's positive?
For cocaine.
Can be.
Sorry?
Can be. Can be.
Yeah, remember this officer cautioned you that you do not have to say or do anything unless you wish to do so, okay? Anything you do say or do may be used as evidence. Do you understand again?
This is the only stuff we
listen
put
to
in
me.
the bag.
Listen to me. Do you understand my caution?
Yeah.
Where are you staying here?
I've got the address.
What hotel is it?
It's like a hostel.
That's all right. You got friends here?
No, no friends.
The court could sure use one now. Those suspicious statues were packed, he says, by an acquaintance in Brazil.
What were you in Brazil for?
About 2 days.
Only 2 days in Brazil. Did you intend to get to Brazil in the first place?
No, I'm here on holiday. Go through Brazil, you see. I've always wanted to come here.
You always wanted.
The sniffer dog has given a positive response to the statues.
Good girl. Good girl.
It seems Paul might not be a legitimate tourist.
She's just reacted to looks like about 6 or 7 statues. Not an easy concealment because the amount of odour coming out would have been very minimal. But she's done super.
In another part of customs, a second dog is at work. If Paris the sniffer dog sits, Oscar's in trouble.
Good girl. Good dog. Good girl.
Are you carrying any other narcotics on your body?
I don't carry narcotics. Okay. I don't used to carry narcotics.
Okay, so you don't have anything on your body?
I am not.
Okay. We're taking you to a room now, okay? We've done further investigations and there's a very good chance that he could be carrying drugs internally in his stomach, either swallowed or stuffed. So we're at the moment about to obtain consent to see if he'll agree to an internal examination.
Oscar agreed to an internal examination. He was drug-free. But the sports bag contained 1.7 kilograms of low-grade cocaine, worth $850,000. Oscar is currently serving an 8-year prison sentence.
What we're going to do now is we're going to take you to an interview room over here. We're going to contact the Australian Federal Police and they'll come out here and they'll have a talk to you, okay?
The police will determine whether Paul's a drug runner or an innocent traveller betrayed by a friend.
What was the French name in packed bag?
He's got a Brazil name. I don't understand.
Brazil names?
Brazilian names. I don't understand people's names.
In South Africa, was it? Or was he in
Sao Paulo.
During his interviews, Paul confessed he was travelling on a false British passport. The man's real name is William. He is a South African maintenance worker and father of 2 children. The 7 porcelain statues contained 3.4 kilograms of cocaine, worth as much as $1.7 million. William was found guilty of possessing a false passport and importing cocaine. He was sentenced to 9 years in jail for importing an illegal drug, plus 15 months for entering Australia on a false passport.
Simon, can you get me some gloves?
Customs has a delicate problem on its hands. Thomas has just flown in from Prague and, to put it mildly, he's on the nose.
Just before he got his passport stamped, he pulled his pants down to his ankles and adjusted himself.
What's more, he's travelled halfway around the world without any luggage.
Now, you're here for a holiday?
Yes, for 10 days.
Do you have any clothes? Where's your clothes? Nothing else in your checked-in baggage? No. What do you want to do in Australia? Can you tell me anything that you'd like to see? You want to see the...
I don't understand.
Do you want to see the famous things here?
Yes,
the big,
yes.
Yeah?
Hyde Park, yes.
Hyde Park. You have cash money?
No money. Yeah,
No money?
Yes, I have money, yes.
How much money?
$500.
Anything in your pockets?
There's no law against travelling light, but his passport looks dodgy.
He's got a visa in his passport that doesn't have a name on it.
It's 6 a.m, rush hour at Sydney Airport. Thousands of passengers have cleared customs and immigration. In an immigration interview room, Emmanuel is having an anxious wait.
I've been on the plane for the past 2 days. I'm tired. Now I have to wait here in the chair.
This gentleman has arrived on an Italian passport. Speaking to him, our officer realised that he's not a native Italian speaker. The question is now, what is his nationality?
I can't chill out until they tell me whatever is going to happen.
I have a number of concerns about this passport. The first one is we have some stamps in his passport that indicate he entered and left Melbourne Airport in 1999. We have no record of that on our systems, which sets alarm bells ringing. And looking at these stamps, I'm not satisfied that they're genuine. I'm going to have to get an expert to have a look at this a little later. Is his contact book. Very few of the names appear to be Italian. Hello, you're Emmanuel? Nice to meet you, huh? This officer, his name is Deepak. He's a trainee down here at the airport. The first thing that we wanted to ask you about is you don't actually have a visa to Australia. Can you explain why you don't have a visa?
Because you don't usually get a visa.
Everybody needs a visa to come to Australia.
I was here once before as well. I didn't need a visa.
Well, that's something I wanted to talk to you about as well.
What's strange is, look at this, the visa, it's got no name on it. I've never seen that before.
Thomas has some explaining to do.
Because usually, I'm assuming they write in there, but either they haven't written it in there or it's a bullshit visa, wasn't it, sir?
How much money has he got?
Well, he reckons $500. We're just going to have a talk to immigration. Come with me. Hi, Ken.
Go on.
Mate, I'm wondering if you could have a look at this person for me. He's here for 10 days. He's a Czech national. Not got too many funds on him at all.
I want to see the town, yes, Hyde Park, and so, yes.
Where did you first notice this bloke?
Just after the duty free. He just decided to adjust himself and tuck himself in with his pants around his ankles. That's basically...
Concern, isn't it? Yeah.
Thomas looks more like a tramp than a tourist, here for 10 days without so much as a change of clothes.
Just ask him and indicated he'd like to go to the bathroom to refresh and wash up, which I think is a good idea.
You can close the door.
Thomas says he only needs to wash once a week. Michael begs to differ.
I don't want.
You don't want it?
No.
He went to the toilet, he stood there, looked at me, and then I looked at him and we just had an awkward moment together, and then
We'll speak to him in a minute. We'll get an interpreter.
No, matey, no cigarette. No, no cigarette. Here.
Hello.
Hello. I just want to ask Thomas a few questions.
Okay.
Where are you staying while you're staying in Sydney?
At Hotel na Capitol Square.
Do you have a confirmed booking there?
Máte tam zamluvený
Ano, mám tam zamluveno 7 nocí.
Yes, I booked 7 nights.
Do you have an itinerary?
No, I just want to have a look at the city and then just go for short trips.
How much money have you brought with you?
$500.
For $500 US, okay. No credit cards at all?
No.
Já jsem důchodce.
No, I'm retired or on a pension.
Can I just ask you, Thomas, why you're travelling very light?
So, Mr. Quaddy, you just got on an aircraft without getting a visa for Australia. Is that right? Yeah. And where did you board the aircraft?
Aircraft
Yeah.
from Denmark.
How long were you in Denmark for?
2 days.
Why?
Just to look around.
You said that you've been to Australia before. When did you come to Australia before?
I was in 99.
Why?
To see the country.
And how long were you here for?
20 days.
20 days. And what airport did you come in?
Melbourne.
Melbourne. And where did you go out?
Where?
Where?
Melbourne.
Melbourne. Well, the thing is, Mr. Quatty, we don't have any record of you arriving or departing on this passport. Nobody's ever used this passport to come to Australia before, and those stamps are fake.
Fake?
Fake.
Can't be fake.
They're the wrong shape for a start.
It's not a forge.
I think it is.
I think not.
Thank you, Thomas. Now, you sure you've got no baggage, no suitcase?
No, really, that's all.
If Thomas is just a drifter, he's drifted an awfully long way. From Prague to Sydney with just $500 and the shirt on his back.
What if you need some more money? How are you going to fund your stay here?
To mi nedojdou, to mi na týden stačí.
No, that will be enough.
Že to nepotřebuju víc věcí.
Because I don't need it.
Okay. Now, Thomas, can I just have another look at your hotel booking, please?
Ano.
Yes.
Just got to make a phone call. Won't be long.
Okay, I'll be here.
Thomas claims he has a 7-night prepaid booking.
So the hotel's been confirmed. Has that all been paid for? Okay. All right.
The hotel checks out, just. He's covered for 7 days out of 10.
Have you seen that?
But there's still the question of his passport.
That means he was unsuccessful in this visa application.
That's from the US Embassy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's got a visa in here also for South America, which he never used.
And he saw the Americans in September, and then he saw us. Hang on. There's something missing here.
At immigration in Sydney Airport, Emmanuel's passport says Italian, but is the document genuine?
The bottom line is, if this passport is a forgery, and I think it is, okay, then I don't know who you are, and I don't know what nationality you are, but I believe my officer when he tells me that you can't speak Italian properly.
I do speak Italian, I told him, but I prefer to talk in English.
Yes, but he said you speak Italian like a person who has learnt the language.
No.
No? Okay. Where were you born?
Rome.
In
He's
Rome.
got some English,
And what are your parents?
smattering or more of Italian. We think he could be Albanian.
Who were you going to see here?
Nobody.
Nobody. What were you going to do here?
Just look around.
How long for?
Not a month, because at the 4th I start work again.
In Albania, the TV does not have subtitles, and major programs, or most of the programs, are in English and Italian. So even people with little education have those languages. He really fits the profile for us, but we'll see what else he will tell us.
Have you booked any tours? Do you know what you're going to see? Do you know what you're going to do here?
Well, in a month's time, obviously, I've got time enough to look around.
Yeah, but you've got no plans. People don't generally get on a plane and come to another country for a holiday without any idea of what they're going to do.
It's 8 a.m. at the Brisbane Mail Centre. Kath works for Customs, Melissa for Quarantine.
Hands.
They're part of the team that screens all overseas mail, postmarked Queensland. The screening is a lucky dip that often pays dividends.
Hang on, can you grab that one? I think there might be tabbies in there. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, and possibly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 there. A normal videotape wouldn't have that inconsistency along that. I'm just unscrewing some of these screws in this video cassette. As you can see from the X-ray, it appears to be some tablets The sender has tried to conceal them inside the video cassette. The X-ray showed a little bit of an inconsistency, possibly tablets. So we're just going to open this videotape just to double check that they are in fact, it is tablets. They could be prohibited. There we go, look at that.
Back in immigration, Thomas's papers are not in order, and neither is Thomas. But a record search shows the visa to be valid. It was issued in Austria.
When Vienna issued the visa, they never actually saw Thomas. So they've just issued the visa and sent it back to the travel agent in Prague.
But that doesn't explain the condition the Prague tourist arrived in. Thomas is a mess.
I'm not satisfied about the issue of the funds. Someone on pension can purchase an airline to get around the world, not carry yet any luggage, have $500 in cash, and he can't explain how he can access his funds. If he can't come up with a satisfactory answer, I think that'll be grounds for cancellation.
How much money did you bring with you?
I go 700 quid.
700?
Euros.
700 euros won't get you very far.
Of course not.
No. Did you bring traveller's checks or anything like that?
I left in a hurry, so I forgot everything back.
Why did you leave in such a hurry? It's just a holiday.
I know it's holiday.
So why did you leave in such a hurry?
Just left.
I'm going to get an expert to have a look at this passport, but there's some serious problems with it, and until those problems are resolved, you might find yourself in a situation where you won't be granted entry to Australia today.
I won't?
No.
What about all the money which I spend on?
In Brisbane,
Look-see there.
the home video is not what it seems.
Excellent. What do you got? 10 tablets.
They look like Ecstasy.
That's another one from the UK, is it, Kath? Yes. They don't seem to think we can X-ray through them. They look fine on the outside, but an X-ray shows them up quite clearly. So here's another one.
Just going to take a little bit of the residue. And what the iron scan machine, it'll actually heat it up and cooks it. With the alarm going off, that's told us that it has tested positive to MDMA, which is the chemical name for ecstasy, and our graph shows us that it's peaked at the calibration for MDMA. The swab we tested was ecstasy.
Back in immigration, Thomas is in dire need of a shower.
Now, Thomas, can I ask you, you might consider a personal question. We were just a little bit concerned about the smell, and it might be a little bit unhygienic.
No, I don't know anything about anything like this. It was a very pleasant trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was very satisfied.
He's only got the clothes on his back at the moment. He hasn't got any other clothing with him. Is he going to buy any other clothing at all?
Budete si kupovat tady nějaký jiný šatstvo nebo právo?
Nebudu.
So you're just going to stay for the next 6 or 7 days in the same clothes that you have now?
Yeah, I always change a shirt once a week.
Okay.
It's sort of normal for me.
Well, that's good, okay.
Well, the shirt might last the 10 days, maybe, but the money in his pocket won't.
Do you have access to any money when you get back to Prague?
I've got enough money when I get home to get my a meal and get home, and then I can take the money out of the savings bank.
Have you suspended at 10:05 hours?
He's got no luggage, and he doesn't even know how much money he's got in his bank account, and a check pension is not very much anyway.
No. I'll give him a notice of intention to consider...
And see what he says. See what he says.
Now, Thomas.
Yes?
I'm going to give you what is called a notice of intention to consider cancelling your visa, because we don't think you're a genuine tourist here, And because you don't have enough funds to support yourself while you're here.
He says he's an invalid pensioner. He says he doesn't have any friends or family. It's likely that he'd become a consular case. That is, someone who's lost, bewildered, out of his depth in Australia.
I'll come back in 10 minutes and you can give me a reason why we shouldn't cancel your visa, okay?
Well, I can tell you right now.
Back in Sydney, Emmanuel's dodgy passport has landed him in trouble.
Okay, how did you get that? How did you get it?
Passport.
Tell me how you got it. With the passport?
Yeah.
At the same time?
Yeah, at the same time.
Right, they were issued in 2 different years. This passport photograph is the same as the one in there. Yeah, I know you got them at the same time because you paid for them. You didn't get them from the Italian authorities. I don't think you are Emmanuel Quatti. I think you are somebody else.
Nope.
I think you are not an Italian citizen. I think you're something else. Interview suspended at 7:05. I feel like he's lying to me. I don't know his motives, I don't know his reason, but I don't think he's telling me the truth.
Passport is real. Because if it's false one, I wouldn't be here.
He's still saying it's real, and he's saying you can believe what you
He
want.
has to, because I'm sure he's invested a lot of time and effort.
It cost him money.
Oh, yeah. It would have cost him heaps.
I asked him how much it cost, and he said he just got it through the normal processes. Yeah, the normal people smuggling processes.
Yeah.
Dave, we got a passenger downstairs. I'd like you to look at his passport if you don't mind. The guy is not being particularly cooperative, and I don't think I'm going to get any information out of him, so I'm relying on the document.
Yeah, no problems. Just leave with us and I'll give you a call.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
I got the plane from Denmark to here. Nobody told me anything. So when I get here, they say it's false.
It's looking quite good actually. I can't see any damage there at all. No evidence there's been substituted or used for the second time.
If I get told by an expert document examiner that his document is genuine, then I'll go in there with an open mind. I think if he was a genuine visitor and I'd just had that conversation with him that I'd had, he'd be a little bit more outraged and a little bit more nervous than he is at the moment.
I feel miserable. Treated like not human.
Now, Thomas, could you give me some reasons why we shouldn't cancel your visa?
First of all, my return ticket is valid in 1 week's time. Yeah, that's my only reason. And I asked, is there any other reason? He said, no, of course, that's it.
Immigration is not convinced Thomas can support himself for the duration of his stay. His visa is cancelled. He's going back to Prague.
We're going out this afternoon at 4:15.
All right, well, can't be helped.
But the plane won't take him anywhere until he freshens up.
Here's the shower, okay?
Yes.
Know how to use? Yes. So we will wait out here for you. When you finish, you knock the door, okay?
I don't think he used the soap. Tons of soil in between the toes. The smell is absolutely irritating. It must have been years without wash.
Thomas arrived in Prague the following day. He hopes to return to Sydney sometime in the future. For Peter and Emmanuel, the moment of truth has arrived.
Did they find anything out?
2 Aussie stamps, the Melbourne ones. Yeah, they're both counterfeit. The pages are all counterfeit, the watermarks are counterfeit. I've also checked around the photograph as well. No evidence there's been substituted or used for the second time.
Okay, yeah.
The actual page and the whole passport is counterfeit, from cover right through to the back cover.
Okay, interview resumed at 8:25. Okay, Emmanuel, I'll call you that for the sake of convenience, but we've just had an expert in document examination look at your passport, and they have confirmed what I believed, and that is that your passport is a forgery.
Forgery.
A forgery, okay? What do you have to say about that?
You sure it's a forgery?
Yes. I wouldn't tell you it was if it wasn't.
Maybe.
So many people who come to Australia with dodgy documents have basically purchased them, organised them or been given them for work purposes.
The Italian passport we are seizing because it is forged and will not be seizing it and it will not be returned to you.
We think he's Albanian. He won't be prosecuted, and he won't be prosecuted because there really is no point to it. What we're after is a quick turnaround. This sends a really strong message to people traffickers, people who organise these sorts of documents. You can't even get past the border.
No charges, but the man will be sent back to Europe.
Just spoke to Singapore Airlines. They can get him out on the 1 o'clock flight. Could go all the way through to Copenhagen, but certainly Singapore at this stage.
Fantastic.
I don't think that I'll be coming here again. For sure not.
Singapore Airlines was fined $5,000 for flying the passenger to Australia without a visa. The passenger's identity remains unknown.